What's going on, everybody? This is Deckplate Tone, and I haven't put a whole bunch of videos out this year, but right now I want to give a video unscripted, uncut on with the Navy, what it's like being in the Navy, and I'll be talking about that for the next 15 to 20 minutes. So if you haven't subscribed to my page already, just take a look at this video if you like it. Make sure that you drop that like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And I think I might take this approach towards my videos a little bit more, a little bit unedited, unscripted and stuff like that. Or not a whole bunch of edits, not a whole bunch of script, just until I get a lot of time. I've been going through a lot of changes and whatnot. As you can see, I got another place. I'm not in my place in VA right now. I'm up in my place in Chicago. And so without further ado, I want to talk a little bit about what's it like being in the Navy. So what's it like being in the Navy right now? I'm on what? I'm going on year 13, and it's been such a journey. It's good being in the Navy at times, really good. But then it's really good. I mean, it is really good, but then sometimes it's really bad. That's what I meant to say. So the Navy sometimes is my source of pleasure, fulfillment, stuff like that. I learn a lot of stuff, but then it's also my source of pain. You miss a lot, you miss some key things, but sometimes it's not always because of the Navy, honestly. Sometimes it's because of me and my imperfections, but all in all, I miss them. I miss a lot of life events. Being at sea, sometimes it can be a little hard. You go on deployments and stuff like that, and you miss stuff. And then when you're not on deployments and you, if you're at sea duty, you're on shore and stuff like that, you actually get chances, but you don't fulfill them because you feel like there's not enough time in a day. Sometimes to keep up with competition in the Navy, you kind of run yourself in the ground. And some people in the Navy, like myself a little bit, they don't ask for help until it's too late and your back's against the wall, and then stuff is hard. I will say, being in the Navy, this is the easiest job I've ever had. And this is why it's the easiest job I've ever had. Being in the Navy, you usually work with some kind of team. And usually it's a whole bunch of people on that team. And it really depends on you, how much you are successful. So if you got a team of 30 people, what I'm thinking is I got 29 people to actually help me out on a lot of things to make my life easier. Am I say that I don't pull my weight? No, not at all. So being in the Navy, sometimes it's like being on a football team or something, because you got a team of people that do this, you got a team of people that do that, and then you guys all make up one big team and whatnot. Sometimes being in the Navy, it really make me resent the steps I take, the last 12 years I've taken. I miss my children a whole bunch, miss my family a whole bunch. I've had friends that, I'm not as close with. I feel like I've missed out on so much of those relationships and stuff. But then when I look back and everything I was doing before I joined the Navy, I wasn't really headed down the most desirable roads. And what was I really doing? I wasn't really doing a whole lot. Nothing I could be proud of. And so maybe 20 years from now, I can look back at this and say, all right, I sacrificed here, but my kids, they can go to school. Or I sacrificed here, but my kids, they don't know this side of poverty or something like that. Because being in the Navy, even though it can be a source of pain sometimes, maybe your family might not hurt as much as you. Your family, if you have a wife and kids and stuff like that, they might deal with the pain of not having you around. But then they might not have to deal with stomach pains, or not having clothes or shoes pains and stuff like that, or not having a good education pain. And honestly, for me, the way I grew up, I just, grew up making mistakes here and there and just not listening. And, my family, we never had everything. We never had everything we wanted. And so now I'm an adult. Now I got a kid. It's like, all right, um, well, damn, I'm about to fulfill that same cycle. So for me, the Navy was an opportunity. So being in the Navy, sometimes there's a lot of opportunity in the Navy. All right, I'm at the 6 minute mark. So sometimes being in the Navy is a lot of opportunity. What I mean by that is, whatever job you take, you always got an opportunity to learn a whole bunch of training and stuff like that. That's one of the main reasons I joined, to learn a whole bunch of skills. Cause I mean, by the time I was like 20, 21, I didn't have much skills, and I knew I didn't have much skills. I knew I didn't have much skills, and I was just, I wasn't good with just living like the rest of my 20s not knowing anything. I mean, the most I could do for skills is get in trouble. And you can't really get paid legally if you want to like do that. So I said, well, let me learn something. And luckily for me, like for my job in the Navy, I've always been like good at reading, writing. I write really well, and I mean, and it's crazy because sometimes I sound a little bit like I don't know. You can tell I'm from New York sometimes, and you can tell I grew up like a little bit different sometimes. But I always read well, always wrote well, and so like that's what I got a job in doing in the Navy. And for me, right now, my job is pretty dope. It's pretty nice. I'm working with a whole bunch of pretty bright, smart people, and like we all pretty much just do that. So we mostly work on computers, and me, I got like a command center. I got like 3 computer screens. I can't even I don't even have to think about my work usually. Yeah, being in the Navy sometimes can be a little bit frustrating at times, because I feel like sometimes we're a little bit behind as far as technology in some areas, not in all areas. Weaponry and stuff like that, I think we golden. But when it comes to basic stuff like iPhone or computers or something like that, we be having like the oldest stuff possible. I mean, it seemed like that, but it's not true. But more often than not, we got some new stuff, but we got a lot of old stuff, so I still be, some people still be working on like Windows 96 and stuff like that. It's not that bad, but I mean, it's pretty bad. I've been a few places where like the computers and a whole bunch of the software was old and slow, and it gets frustrating. So being in the Navy, sometimes it get a little frustrating because like when you see the movies have like military state of the art this, state of the art that. But when you get in, you like, I mean, and you see it all the time, like they have the computers and they military state of the art computers, and you see the touchscreen stuff, you see the person moving stuff, like some Tony Stark stuff. You like, oh, going here, here. Man, that's a loud car, man. Chill out. Anyway, it's not like that. You got some old 1998 like program or software, and you can hardly get through it and stuff like that. So that's when it get a little frustrating. The work-life balance, I would say sometimes it depends on the top up here. It depends on the top up here, and it depends on where you at. I think more at sea duty. Yeah, it really depends on like your leadership and stuff like that. If you have like somebody that just go really hard, and they want the whole their whole organization to go really hard, then the work-life balance gonna kind of suck. When there's leaders that are like failure is not an option, stuff like that. they make life difficult for everybody. You know, people that's like, what do you need? What do you mean sleep? You don't need to sleep. That make life hard to people. I mean, but it's not like that throughout the Navy. I hate when a whole bunch of people think that it's like that, like you got no time, or like that there's a lot of hard work. Like I hear that a lot. I see that in the comments of different videos and stuff and social media that I'll be looking at. Like a lot of people even asking me like, how can you work in the Navy? Like how much work am I gonna be doing? How much work are you gonna be doing? I mean, that really depends on you and your ability to work with other people and stuff. I mean, if you say like, all right, you don't feel like doing anything and you don't want to work, then obviously like you're gonna have a hard time. But if you're willing to work with the team, honestly, this is not really a whole bunch of work. I had one guy, he asked like, do you get dirty in the Navy and stuff like that? For me, right now, for my job, not really. You know, when I was on a ship, I'm on shore duty right now. When I was on a ship, sometimes I would get dirty because that's just the nature of the beast. The ship is a little dirty. Sometimes we would, it depends, man. It's not like you just have dirty clothes and you just don't wash the clothes. So you're going to get a little dirty regardless of what you do. You know, even on shore duty right now, you know, my uniform get dirty here and there, but, you know, a wise man will wash his clothes. But, you know, so another thing I think about the Navy, when I think about how the Navy is, like, can you actually have like a love life? How's the Navy when it comes to like having love lives and stuff like that? Uh, it can be a little bit of a challenge, like to actually have like a love life. You know, living a long distance life. That's kind of tough. You know, especially if you deploying and whatnot. You're not seeing your partner for a long time. That's super hard. You know, it's not easy. It's not impossible though, but it all depends on the your relationship and the type of person you are and the type of person your partner are. That kind of determine how you gonna really, you know, like you gonna really make it. So, but I will say that being in the Navy sometimes is like family oriented and stuff, and people try to look out for each other and stuff like that. So you could have somebody that like might be married, and you know you have a whole bunch of people hitting on that one particular person. A lot of times people like they acknowledge that, and they kind of like the good people, they kind of, you know, put a wedge in between that type of situations. And then sometimes they might pull them over the side. Hey, you got a wife or you got a husband. You don't want to be going through that type of stuff. So a lot of people do that sometimes. What else? How is the Navy on pay and stuff like that? I think that there's a lot of people in the Navy that they underpay, they undervalue, in my opinion. But then I think it's some people in the Navy that they get paid too much. You know, there's some people that like it's. I mean, I could think of like a handful of people right now that like they need to be making like minimum wage right now. Like they terrible, you know, and they're like getting over on the Navy and all that stuff. For the Navy, for them, it's pretty good because they don't necessarily work. You see, in the Navy, you're gonna get paid like anyway. You're gonna get paid no matter what you do. You could do a lot of work or you could do a little bit of work. I'm gonna just fidget with some stuff right now. You could do a lot of work or you could do a little bit of work. You still gonna get paid the same. You know, when I mean, obviously, like if you just coming in, you're not gonna be getting paid the same as like, you know, somebody like that been in as long as me. But let's say for instance you got a super hard worker guy. He just got in and he busting his behind all the time. Then you got another guy that just came in, just graduated boot camp, same rank. He doesn't do anything but hide all day or skate all day. He's getting paid the same amount of money. I think that there should be some kind of merit system in place that kind of kills that. Now, as far as like the pay base, you get a raise like every year. Every year you get a raise, so in that sense, it's kind of competitive towards how other organizations do it. But I think sometimes some people need to get their pay taken away without getting in trouble or anything like that, because that's the thing. A lot of times you can well sometimes you can get in trouble and you can get your rank taken away, which take your pay away or reduce your pay. But I think some people just need to be evaluated on their merits sometimes, and if they're not pulling their weight, then they just get their pay decrease. That's what I think. What else? I was like the living standards and stuff like that, or like the perks. I'll go on the perks. Like the perks, medical coverage is, in my opinion, it's super amazing, but it's really what you make it. We got free medical coverage and we can pretty much go anywhere, be seen by anybody. But I hear a lot of people complaining here and there about not liking to go to like military doctors or something like that. But you can go out in town if you want. But you can get a referral to go and see somebody else. But what else? I hear people say sometimes dental is not this or sometimes that. It's usually people with like super jacked up teeth. But in the military, since I've been in dental, been like a big deal. Sometimes people take dental really serious, and they will really you'll be getting in trouble and stuff if you don't take care of dental. They got different dental classes and stuff like that. Somebody that's a corpsman might know a little bit more. Somebody working in the medical field, I don't know that much about it. I just know when they tell me, or when my name is on some kind of list that says, hey, you need to get dental, I just go to dental. And there's times where you can get certain things as far as your dental coverage. You can get braces and you can get all that type of stuff. And it's paid for, man. Same thing with vision correction, all that stuff. So in my opinion, those perks and benefits are nice. One thing that we get military discounts anywhere, but some people they don't always give military discounts. They well, we already say thank you for your service. Ain't that enough? But in my opinion, no, it's not enough. Because I'm bound by contract. I'm bound by contract. So right now, if I wanted to drive down to see my children because I just felt like it, and I didn't want to call in to work, or I wanted to call in to work tomorrow and all that stuff, I can't do that. I can't. If I was to call in to work and say I'm not coming, it's a problem. All right, it's not like that. Yeah, you can take leave and stuff, and there's special circumstances and emergencies and all that stuff, but you just can't do that. So what is the military like? It's like a bittersweet thing. It's a bittersweet thing. You got more control than you think. You have more freedom than you think. Right? Yeah, you're bound by contracts and stuff like that. But let's see. You got more freedom than you think. You got more control than you think. You got more benefits than you think. I think that a lot of times people in the military, especially in the Navy, the sailors and stuff, they don't really take the time out to go through their benefits and stuff. But then at the same time, when a lot of people get in, and I'm not sure if they do this in boot camp, they don't get a whole packet. Let's say if you work somewhere at Target or Home Depot or somewhere, they're gonna give you a packet and say, hey, these are your benefits and this is that and that and that. It's not like that really in the Navy. It wasn't like that when I joined. There's classes and courses and stuff, but it's you got one guy that holds it. Say for instance, a lot of people hold things called collateral duties. If that guy holds that, that position, then he can push it out to everybody in the command and educate them on a particular service that the military have or a particular benefit that they have. But if that guy's not good at his job, then people only gonna know so much. So I don't know. But I think that just being in the military, like I said, it's a bittersweet thing. Being in the Navy is definitely a bittersweet thing. You don't need to learn how to swim and all this crazy stuff. You're gonna learn that. I mean, but you don't need to know how to do that from the jump. You don't even need to be super military and all this stuff. Like people say, you don't have to have generations of families that have been in the military and all this stuff. Like, from what I know, like only really that I know that been in the military from my family is like my dad, really. And that's it. He wasn't even in for that long. I mean, he was in for a minute, but he like that's like the only one. So like I don't have a whole family history of military, and it's not like a legacy thing. Now I got a cousin and I got a brother and I got a brother in the Navy, and then I have a cousin in the Navy, and we trying to make that work now. Maybe build some legacy here and there for the rest of the family, and we trying to do things different. But overall, like it's all right. Being in the military or being in the Navy, how is it when it comes to advancing or making rank and stuff like that, making more pay? Because that's all advancing really is. I think it's kind of simple. I think that up until you make like a certain pay grade, they pretty much tell you, hey, if you study this and you take this test, you'll get it, as long as we got space. Most of the time they got space. A lot of times people, they don't study, so they don't make it. I mean, it's a few people, it's influencers and stuff like that do YouTube and stuff like that, that's trying to get up that ladder. And some of them have been like the same pay grades and stuff for a while. And I think that they are not following the formula, the secret. I got a secret and I got the formula that help a lot of people make rank. And I think a lot of those folks, they don't follow that stuff, man. But if you follow that sauce and that formula, like that they say, like, hey, if you take these tests, you'll advance. And if you like stick around these people, you advance. But I don't know. That's just my opinion, though. But you might have to reach out to me if you want to know a little bit more about that, because I kind of explained that really badly just now, low key. But to advance is easier than you might think. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but by the time I hit like year 10 going on 11, I was already like, a higher ranking guy, so, and, I've won like Sailor of the Years. I've helped a lot of people win like Sailor of the Year. That's like Employee of the Year, stuff like that, Employees of the Quarters, so it's simple to do. It's easy to do as long as you follow the blueprints to do that. And the blueprints to do it is just listening to people with that experience. So to be in the Navy and how is it in the Navy, I should say. Being in the Navy, what's it like being in the Navy? It's like just like anything else in life. Being in the Navy, you're going to have your ups, you're going to have your highs and your lows. You're going to have your ups and downs, your highs and your lows, your trials and tribulations. You're going to have a lot of wins. You're going to have a lot of losses. You're going to cry sometimes. You're going to be happy as hell sometimes. You're going to have a lot of days where you hate them, and you're going to have a lot of days where you love them. A lot of people put a bad rap on people that join the military, join the Navy and stuff like that. But honestly, I don't think that we any different from anybody else. It's nice every once in a while for people to tell you thank you for your service and all this good stuff, but we just ordinary people. I will be honest, we do a lot of extraordinary things, but we're just ordinary people at the end of the day, man. So, but I don't know. That's all I really have regarding the Navy. What's it like to be in the Navy? It's like a bittersweet thing, man. You know, and it's just like regular life, man, for real. You know, just on like 10. All right, so if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you want to send some love in the comments, please feel free to do that, man. I really appreciate it, man. If you guys haven't subscribed, if you guys haven't seen any of my other videos, feel free to do that. Like I said, I think that I'm gonna start releasing more videos, a little bit unscripted, a little bit with no script, not a whole bunch of editing, not a whole bunch of cuts and stuff like that, just because I want to continue to do that output. I made my trailer and I was supposed to be putting one out per week, but I've been going through a lot of changes, been a lot of stuff going on. I've been really busy. You know, I've been, you know, just getting hit upside the head here and there. But, you know, God willing, I'll be like in a better place, man. This is a new year. Hopefully things go better. And salute to everybody out there. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all out there, man. Thank you. Tony Tone out.